Hi there, folks. I want to ask you a question. Do your comparisons grow you or do they slow you? This is a question I ask myself when I go into comparison mode. Where they grow me, I'm inspired by someone. I want to learn and grow from them. When it holds me back is when I go into this downward spiral where I look at somebody and I go, oh, why am I not like that? I've made so many mistakes in my life, and this inner critic comes in and says, you should have, you could have, why didn't you? You're not good enough. And I don't deserve that. It really hurts me. So I'm very mindful of my comparisons I make. And what I'd like to share with you is some of the things I do to get away from that comparison mode. The first thing I do is I remind myself that I'm most likely comparing my behind the scenes reel to their highlight reel. And I suppose this is what happens on social media. When we look at videos that people record, we don't see that there's a lot of messes and bugger ups behind the scene, and they've deleted that. So what you see is the nearest as possible perfect video. And this is the analogy for what we compare ourselves to generally. We don't see the messes and bugger ups in the background. We see the success in that moment. And what we could end up doing is really comparing ourselves to an illusion and harming ourselves because of this illusion. The second thing is to ask yourself, is it relevant to my personal journey in life? If I compare myself to a person who's been in the same business as I am for 40 years and I've only been doing it for 13 years, well, that's not really fair for me to compare myself to that person. I can be inspired by them, sure. But if I'm going to hammer myself and say I'm not good enough because I'm not like that person, that doesn't make sense. It's not relevant to where I am at in this moment. And then to also ask myself, is it okay not to be perfect? Leo Tolstoy said, if you continually search for perfection, you're not going to be content. And I don't want to live a life of trying to be somebody who I think I should be. I do want to actually also be me, my authentic self. If I try and live a life of what I think I should be, I could end up working at a job I hate, to buy things I don't need, to impress people I don't like. And finally, is to remind myself that I don't have to always go out there to compare myself with other people. Why don't I compare myself to who I was a year ago? And you actually pat yourself on the back for where you've got through those challenges. And then if you look ahead for the year ahead and you aspire to become more, you realize that if you've got this far, you will still continue to learn and grow, and you will achieve what you set yourself up to be. But you use yourself as a source of inspiration. So these are some thoughts, folks. Be careful of those comparisons, those comparison voices. You are good enough. And until we chat again, take care and stay aware.